Birchwood School of Hawken. This is your 7th grade BNN Leadership Broadcasting team for the week of February 12th.
I'm Niraj.
And I'm Andrew.
Thank you for joining us. Let's get right into this week's BNN.
First up, we have birthdays. This week, 2 students are celebrating their birthdays.
Today, Monday, February 12th, kindergartner Graces is turning 6. Have a spectacular day.
On Thursday, February 15th, 7th grader Zora is turning 13. Have an awesome day.
The answer to last week's riddle is, they are anagrams.
That was a tough one. No one got it right, so Mr. Sprout gets to keep all the candy.
We have a riddle this week.
Let's hear it.
I'm heavy forwards, but backwards I'm not.
That is a tricky one.
Please email your answers to bnn@birchwoodschool.org or turn in your answers in the mailbox by Wednesday.
Now we have
Last week's Rewind. Next up we have Bravo Birchwood. This week we had one student who leveled up in the mathematician's toolbox.
1st grader Advitya moved up to the yellow book.
Great job! The 5th graders in Mr. Anderson's, Dr. Woolley's, and Mrs. Seward's class spent several weeks in December and January composing 350-word stories for an in-house grade-level writing competition.
Students wrote and revised fiction narratives on an idea of their choice. Their mystery judge was none other than retired and revered Birchwood teacher Karen Kufal, who left a lasting impact on our writing program that continues to this day.
Students received awards in categories such as Best Humor, Best Ending, Best Use of Description, and Best Character. There were 5 overall winners.
Ryan received 5th place, Hadi received 4th place, Arav received 3rd place, Suriel received 2nd place, and Donna received 1st place. Congratulations to everyone. Now we have Remembering Our Roots. Let's hear from Mr. and Mrs. D.
This video is about the history of the math program at Birchwood School. Math.
Mrs. D, are you kidding me? Math? No, I'll talk about the math and the history of our math program. So I hope all of you know, all the students from 1st to 8th grade know that the real purpose of math is learning how to solve problems and learning how to solve them deductively. How about everybody in the 1st through 4th grade say deductively? Okay, what does that mean? That means you get a problem and you find out everything you can about the problem, and then you use some mathematical tools to solve it. So for example, if I walk into the office and Mrs. Bixler gives me 3 pieces of candy, and Mr. Labar gives me 4 pieces of candy, and Mrs. Perino takes 5 away from me. Well, how do I figure, how many do I have left? That's the problem. Okay, so deductively, well, if you got some from Mrs. Bixler, and you got some from Mr. Labar, and then Mrs. Perino took some away, you have to add, you have to subtract, and you come out with your answer, how many pieces of candy you'll have. Well, that's an easy one. Let me give you another one. What 3 coins can I use to come up with 36 cents? I'll count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You probably figured it out. You need a quarter, which is 25 cents. You need a dime, which is 10 cents. That's 35, and then a penny. And that gets you 36 cents. Well, what did you have to know? You had to follow, if I have 36 cents, what are the coins that I could use? 25, that's a quarter. A dime is 10. A nickel, nope, that's too much. A penny, got it, 36 cents. So I had a problem. I thought about it deductively. And then I used my tools and I came up with an answer, a quarter, a dime, and a nickel. All right, for some of you 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, let me give you a harder one. Let's pretend you bought a puppy and you put your puppy in the backyard and you put the puppy on a leash. And the leash was 10 feet long. How many square feet does the puppy have to run around? Aha! Well, there's the problem. How do I figure out how much space there is in what would be a circle? I have to know the formula for the area of a circle. Pi r squared. And I know the radius is 10, and I'm going to use 3.14 for pi. Then I can multiply them, and I get an answer. So I thought deductively, and then I used tools to solve the problem. Okay, so telling you that's what you're learning. Sometimes the students have said in the past, what do I need this for? What do you need math for? Are you kidding me? That's so that you can think deductively. Otherwise, you're going to make all kinds of silly decisions and do things in entirely the wrong way because you didn't learn to think deductively. Okay, so now, why do we do all these competitions? You know, the younger children do the Noetic and Continental Math League, and we do Math Olympiad and Ohio Math League, and some of the older students do Math Counts, which is to compete against kids from all over the state. Why do we do that? Practice, 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 practice. So that you know how to apply all kinds of skills to difficult problems. Probably the 3rd and 4th graders did not know how to find the square feet in the area of that circle that the puppy could play in. Why? You don't have enough knowledge. You don't have enough tools. Of course, that's why you're learning your multiplication tables and your division tables. You got to know that stuff cold. Otherwise, you can't solve problems. Those are tools. Have you ever noticed that the Wood Math series is also called toolboxes? How to do all those computational skills. So we do the competition so you get tons of practice. And you get good at it. We've got all kinds of awards that students have won in the past. And I'll bet a lot of you, every time you take another Noetic or another CML, you get a little bit better each time in learning how to think deductively. And also for those of you who are good in math, is no limit to how high you can go. You know, we have students at Birchwood that have won regional awards, they've won state awards, they've won Midwest awards, and they've won even national awards. Come into the math room sometime, take a look at all of the trophies that students have won because they built up all the tools and they learned how to think deductively, how to take problems apart, figure out what to do with the parts. Now, I know a lot of you sometimes like to do the guess and check. Well, guess and check is a little bit like praying for a miracle. Sometimes when you do it, because there's no math to it, you're just sort of throwing numbers out. You're not thinking deductively. So we do all these competitions, and it opens up doors for us to compete against the very best students and children in the entire country. And you probably should know this tiny little school called Birchwood competes against schools that have 500, 600, 700 students in every grade. And here we are, so tiny, and yet we do so well. Why? Because we practice problem solving and deductive thinking. So we still have some more CML tests, we still have some more Math Olympiads, Math Counts is coming up in 2 weeks. What should you do? Just go practice. We do that to get better and better and better and better. And that only comes by practicing, and sometimes practice is a little bit hard, but if you push yourself, do your best to learn new strategies, do your best to make sure you got all your skills mastered, you're going to get better and better and better.
This week, we highlight Ruby Bridges.
Ruby Bridges became a pivotal figure in the civil rights movement of the 1960s.
At just 6 years old, she made history as the first African-American child to integrate an all-white school in the South when she entered William Frantz Elementary School in New Orleans in 1960. Despite facing harassment, threats, and isolation, Ruby displayed remarkable courage and resilience. Her bravery paved the way for desegregation in education and inspired countless others in the fight for equality. During our reading day, our second graders got a chance to hear her new book, Dear Ruby, Hear Our Hearts, and then wrote letters to her.
Dear Ruby Bridges, your story inspired me. You really helped stop segregation. I bet you were really scared to move to the white school. If I were you, I would have been too scared to move. Thank you for inspiring me.
Dear Ruby Bridges, without you, I would not be with my friends right now. You are very brave and very kind. You have inspired me to be brave and stand up for myself and others.
In 2001, President Bill Clinton awarded her the Presidential Citizens Medal for her role in advancing civil rights and promoting tolerance.
Now it's time for 8th grade interviews. This week, Ria interviewed Julia.
Let's take a look at the video.
Hey Birchwood, welcome back to another 8th grade interview. Today we're interviewing Julia.
Hi.
So Julia, how long have you been at Birchwood?
I've been at Birchwood for 10 years.
Oh wow, that's a really long
Yeah.
time. So do you have any memories you'd like to share with us?
I remember doing field day every year and it was super fun.
What team were you on?
I was on blue team last year.
Oh, nice. Okay, and then do you have any accomplishments?
In 6th grade I placed 4th place at states for FPS.
Oh wow, congratulations. And then do you have any advice you'd like to give to the younger students?
Probably just stay with the true friends.
Yeah, that's really good advice, yeah. And then lastly, do you have any hobbies?
I like bike riding and horseback riding.
Oh, nice. Do you have like a favorite horse?
Her name is Rose.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's nice. Okay, thank you for watching another 8th grade interview. Now back to the BNN. Bye!
That's it for this week's BNN.
Thank you for watching, and have a great week.